Hi there, this is Joe from SquareXO, and this is episode 46. I'm joined by Dan,
Hello.
Nicole,
Hello.
and Rebecca, who's back
Hello.
from EGX.
Yes, I am.
Don't forget to follow us on twitter.com/square_XO. Visit our website at squarexo.co.uk. We're on twitch.tv/squarexo. We're on iTunes, we're on Podbean, we're on youtube.com/johnsonwater, and we're also on patreon.com/squarexo. And for that, I just want to say big well done to Rebecca for all our EGX coverage. I read it all, by the way. So
Oh, thank you. That's nice.
thought I'd put that in there. Yeah, so it's pretty interesting actually, reading all the things you went to see.
Yeah, I was really happy with it actually. To say there was so much there, I was really happy with how much I actually got through in the end.
It was good, the interviews as well, I like them. It's quite
Oh, thank
interesting.
you.
So, yeah, well done. So yeah, good. So we'll talk about EGX in a minute. We've no news this week, I'm afraid, because there's just nothing. I did look for some, but it's been a bit boring the past few weeks. I think it's because what tends to happen with gaming news is that you get a whole big bunch round about the conventions, E3, and earlier in the year as well, when people are announcing stuff, and then it gets to this time of year and everything's coming out, obviously, and nobody's really talking about what's coming out. They're more interested in what's out.
Yeah.
There's just so much distracting people that the game news tends to go down. But obviously we've got Sony's conference next month, so we'll get some big news from that, I imagine, and we've got EGX and PSX, that's what I meant, and the Game Awards. So obviously the game news will come back. So we'll go back to our normal format next week. When we talk about gaming news, we have a topic and all that. But for this week, we'll just focus on what we've been playing and on EGX as well. Can I imagine Rebecca's got quite a lot to talk about.
Didn't talk about the Tokyo Game Show conference either. Not that there was a great deal, but there were some bits in there that kind of some more VR support.
Yeah, we were going to do a little podcast last week because we missed last week. Sorry about that. We missed last week, so we were going to do one last week just quickly about Tokyo Game Show, but it was barely really much to talk about. I didn't think so. It didn't really seem worth it.
It was just reiterating kind of everything that was out, or due out already, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah,
trailers and stuff.
Was Left Alive an announcement though? That wasn't heard of before, was it?
No,
it looks just like Metal Gear though. It looks
but
like
there wasn't really much to say about it other than it was a trailer. So
well, at least it's something new though.
Yeah. At EGX, they went into really in-depth analysis about that trailer, and they all sat on the stage and they were like, "Now I think it looks like this, and I think them showing this means that." And they went into it for about 20 minutes on a 30-second trailer.
Yeah. What do you think? What they're kind of saying about it? Because part of it reminds me. Oh God, I can't get my words. Part of me is reminded of when they announced the Phantom Pain, and then we're like, oh, and it's a Metal Gear game actually. And I know that this can't be a Metal Gear game because Konami own the IP, but it looks very similar, and I just wonder if it's going to end up being something other than what Left Alive is, if that makes sense.
Maybe. They're just trying to throw us off.
Yeah, I don't know how extensive the Metal Gear IP is to Konami, as in can they do Metal Gear Rising or because there was other iterations of the Metal Gear games, weren't they? Metal Gear Solid was PlayStation, but then I'd say there was Metal Gear Rising. They could possibly do Metal Gear something else. I don't know where the ownership is, so I don't know. I'm probably just talking a load of crap, but
you're just brainstorming, Dan. It's all good.
Yeah, just because the artwork is so similar to Metal Gear 1. I know it's the same artist, but even just to the layout of the characters, there's something about it. So I don't know. But either way, that looked good. I thought that the new Vanillaware game looked good, which I cannot find the name of for the life of me.
Oh gosh, is it the 13?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
like
that 13 Sentinels or something like that. Yeah.
To be honest, I get bored to tears and went to the gym. Although I was still watching it in the gym on YouTube, but I just kind of forgot all about it because it was just there wasn't really anything that stuck out for me. Apart from like you say that Square Enix game, but apart from that, I was watching it and I'm thinking, nah, this is nothing I'm doing.
Yeah, I started watching it and then I just kind of followed the Twitter coverage, so I found it a lot more
Really?
interesting.
I watched
yeah,
the
so it
whole
was just
thing.
condensed.
Yeah, I watched it all too.
Yeah, I
sat
did
and
watch it
watched
all, but I was just watching it at the gym, Matt, so I
Dragon's
kinda-
Crown for PS4 is good. That's a good game if no one's ever played the kind of the previous PS Vita or PS3 versions. So, but again, that was very catered towards the Japanese market for obvious reasons.
Yeah, quite a few people were, weren't they?
So it was alright. And I was just thinking about games actually, because I was thinking there's been a bit of a lull for me recently. I played all these, and I say recently, but maybe for the past 2 weeks. Because obviously I was playing a whole load at once, that new Guardians of the Galaxy, and then I played a Boys Golf and Life is Strange.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what else. I'm sure there was something else as well. Knack 2. And then, so I mean, I've got all these games that I've even been playing Mario and Rabbids. What do you call it? Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle or whatever it's called on the Switch. That's really good, by the way. I think that game's brilliant.
Yeah, I had to go at that at EGX. It is really fun.
Hold the presses. Joe, what was that?
No,
Yeah,
not as good.
literally.
It's a Mario game. I quite like it though. Maybe it's because it's by Ubisoft and not Nintendo.
Oh,
No,
I
to
see.
be fair, I've also pre-ordered the Mario Oddesey because it was $41.99 digitally on Amazon. So I thought, I like
finally
the
grown on
digital
you, Jay.
version.
I can talk about that when we get to EGX.
I do
'cause
like
I have
it.
a lot to say about it.
I do like the Switch, but yeah, I thought I'd get Mario. Mario games are normally quite fun. I don't really like the characters such, but generally the games are fun enough, aren't they? And everybody, even though I'm not the biggest fan, everybody in the house always really likes them. So it's worth getting, I reckon. But yeah, so I was thinking of that, and then I'm thinking, all of a sudden this week and next week is getting good again for me, because obviously FIFA 18's out today, which I've played a bit of, and there's a game coming out on Switch on Thursday called Golf Story, which looks a bit like Stardew Valley. So that's kind of piqued my interest. I kind of like the look of that. And then I think the new Batman, if you have the Batman Enemy Within, I think the new episode of that comes out this week. And also, what else is it? There's something else. There's definitely something else. Oh, Battle Chasers, that's out next week. So yeah.
Oh right, yeah. So your year's kind of coming to a head then. Good news.
It's full on with games. So next few weeks again. So it kind of, you wait a couple of weeks with nothing and then they all come at once again. So, yeah. But FIFA 18's okay. That for what I've played so far, I don't really notice too much in the way of gameplay changes, but I never tend to notice it until I've played for quite a while. And then you start to see the little subtle differences. The main differences I've noticed is things like an Ultimate Team would have put the ability to play against other people's Ultimate Teams offline, and they've obviously got the new Journey and stuff. I've got the Switch version of that coming too as well on Friday, so I'll sort
It'll be interesting to compare the two, won't it? See, obviously there's going to be differences, but it'll be interesting to actually firsthand. You can actually sit and see them. Be good.
Yeah. So I'm going to end up with this big back catalogue of games again that I'm not going to play. So already I've put everybody's golf aside because I've been playing FIFA now, and I'll probably get back to it, but it's just like, I need to get back to that, but then you need to get back to all the other stuff. That's why I try and complete stuff really fast when it's single player games. I try and complete them within a few days, then I don't need to worry about them again, and I can just go on with the stuff that you sort of tend to spend more time with.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I've got to say about that.
Well, shall we talk a little bit about EGX then, and maybe run through what you saw, Rebecca, and what stood out, and then we can ask you questions or give our input on it. But you obviously don't go through it all because there was loads and people can read about it on the website. But just to give us a flavour, really. So was it your first
Yes, this has
Gaming
been my
convention.
first gaming convention, my first time as press, my first time at the NEC, my first time using a Switch, my first time trying VR, my first time playing an Xbox controller. So
Aw.
this was like literally so many firsts for me those 4 days. But it was really good. And I mean, the atmosphere was amazing too. I think I went in knowing that I was going to have to do interviews, and I thought, well, I'm quite shy. That might be an issue for me. But everybody is obviously so passionate about gaming that it's so easy to just strike up a conversation with people.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was standing in the queue for Far Cry 5, which was probably one of my favorite games that I did get to play. And the staff members from Ubisoft were walking around with guns, and they were like chanting cult passages at us and telling us to join them. So it all felt really authentic and really cool. And then they came out of character and they came over to me like, oh, you've got a press pass. Who do you write for? Oh, that's cool. And they were really friendly and really easy to get along with. So I had like a bit of a schedule to stick to. I wanted to do at least 4 games a day, and I went into it thinking, oh, I'll do loads more than that, like easily. And the queues, you stand in the queues for about probably like an hour and a half average. So I went straight to Far Cry 5, which I really did like, but to me it sort of did just feel like a Far Cry game, if you know what I mean. Like it could just be Far Cry 4 plus 1 rather than
more of the same
thing. So it was. I didn't play anything that I regretted waiting for. Basically, I was quite lucky that everything I got to have a go at was really good. On the first day, I probably would say that Far Cry was my favorite thing, because after that I went. Huh?
Can I just ask?
Yeah.
If you queue for an hour and a half, how long did you actually get to play the game for?
Probably the demo was about 15 minutes, so give or take. It's one of those demos where they've done quite a few demos where you play them to the finish, or you'll play a chapter. Like Forza was, you do a lap or you do 2 laps, but this was a time demo, so you had 15 minutes, and I basically liberated the town, and then I just ran around, and I was like, okay, now what do I do? I guess I'll just go fishing because there's no one else to kill, I guess.
I always thought it'd be a cool idea that if they gave you a little, if you went to queue up, they gave you a little pager or gave you a time or something so that you could then go off and come back again when it's your time. When you go to the harvester or the sportsman, they give you a buzzer and it buzzes when it's your turn.
I mean, I do think that was quite useful, because I remember standing in the queue for Sea of Thieves on the last day, and I just remember being so hungry, and that queue was 2.5 hours long, and I just saw all these other people go, oh, I'm just going to get some food, will you save my place, to their family members, and I was like, I can't leave. I'm literally stuck. I have to just sit and wait. But it was okay. I think most of the queues were quite reasonable, but Sea of Thieves was insane. So I was
Did you like it?
I loved it. Yeah, I really, really liked it. I was quite surprised, actually. And I think maybe I went into it thinking I better like this game, because I've just waited 2.5 hours to go and play it.
Yeah, you force yourself to like it.
But it was very fun. And they did it in a really clever way. So there was 12 booths, and you played in like 2 teams of 6, and you were playing as a multiplayer game with the people in your booth. So you didn't know them, but you would communicate, and you'd have different tasks to sort out. And I mean, it was hilarious. Like, we sank our own ship, and the guy said no one sank their own ship before. You guys are the first to do it. And he thought that was funny. It looks amazing too. It looks so good. It looks like a bit like fireworks. You know what I mean?
Nice.
That graphic stuff. Yeah, it looks. I was waiting to ask you about that one, because that's one game I'm really, really excited for. Is that because I love kind of co-op games.
Yeah, I mean, it was on Xbox, so I did have a few issues with the controllers. I had to keep looking down because the X is like, So everyone was like, jump on board, and I ran over and I was like, okay, I'm going to press X to jump, and I pressed A, and I just fell straight in the sea. And they were all laughing at me like, what are you doing? Get up, we have to go. But the demo for that was half an hour long, which is why the queue was so long. But it felt quite rewarding, like you wait so long, and you don't feel rushed when you play it. It was very... you've waited all this time, now enjoy a half an hour demo. And we sank another ship. I mean, we sank our ship too, but we got to go on an island, we got to like sail around the seas. So it didn't feel like, oh, there's so much to do and so little time. Because quite a few games, like Super Mario Odyssey, was a 5-minute demo. And
What?
yeah, and I've never played a Switch before, so I was like trying to get used to the controls. And before I knew it, the lady was like, "Okay, your time's up," and I was like, "What?"
So what did they do? You start a level, the timer ticks, and then you just do what you can before they kick you off.
So Super Mario Odyssey, I was very interested in, but also quite skeptical about, because it obviously has the modern day world, and it also has the desert world, which is more of a classic, Mario sort of level. And I was like, I really should play the modern day world. Like, I really should do it. But I was standing in line and I just could not. I was looking at it and I was like, I don't like the look of it. And it didn't seem very story-led. You know, when most Mario was like, you've got to go here to progress. Yeah. Everyone playing it was just running around the city, like driving toy cars and like jumping to the top of skyscrapers. And I was like, I want to do something where I have to fight bullet bills and jump up buildings and get through the pipes. And it didn't seem to encompass any of that. So I picked the desert level. And I was like, I didn't feel bad about it. I was like, I don't think I'd get it, even if I had a Switch, just because, I don't know. But from what I saw in the demo, I didn't see enough of a new idea. It just felt like old Mario. It felt like I could pick up Super Mario Galaxy and get the same experience.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
That's a lot of kind of people's initial criticism online, isn't it? That it doesn't look like a Mario game. And then a lot of the kind of counter of that is, well, no Mario games really ever look the same if you look at the evolution of them.
Some have been set in space.
So. Yeah, that's it. You've got Mario Sunshine, which is set on an island, and they've all been slightly different. But I do think with each release, they move further and further away from what we, kind of an older generation, consider to be a typical Mario game.
Yeah, definitely.
But they have to branch out, I suppose, because people get fed up. But I don't know. I'm not a fan of the city setting as I've seen it. I've not played it, but it just reminds me of Sonic Adventure so much.
Is it?
Which is a good thing, I suppose. Sonic Adventure was good, but that's not a Mario. Well, for me though, a 3D Mario game isn't a Mario game. So it's for me, Super Mario World is the Mario game.
I'll tell you what though, there was in the desert bit right at the end, there was a few really cool little sections where you basically jumped into the wall, Link Between Worlds style, and then you played as a 2D adventure, which was really cool. And you know what? I do think that there is going to be loads of levels and there'll be loads of variety. I'm just saying personally, as I don't have a Switch, I would not buy a Switch for this game. Do you know what I mean? To own it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's fair enough. And you're entitled to change your opinion if you play more of it and end up liking it as well. There's no harm in that. We can only give our opinions on what we see and play, can't we?
I will tell you, though, what I did play that I'm 100% getting now. I loved Detroit. Oh, my God. It was amazing. It was really cool to, how I said the Ubisoft staff were acting like cult members. There was a woman just by the queue, and she was obviously meant to be an android, and it was so freaky because people were talking to her, and she's just staring straight through them, and she never once cracked her performance. She just walked around, stopped, looked at you, and then walked around and stopped somewhere else, and she was doing all the very slow head turns and just staring.
So it was a real person.
Yeah, it's a real person. Yeah. Some people didn't know what the game was about, and they were like, why is this weird lady standing here? And I was like, have you not seen any of the E3 announcements or anything? But that demo was incredible. I don't know if it's because the sound in that demo really did alter my feelings about it, I think, because they had really loud surround sound on in the booths, and it just so loud, and it was so thrilling, and it really got my heart racing. And it was the hostage situation that they played out at E3 last year, so we all knew what it was, but it was interesting to actually get in and make your own choices. And you could explore rooms, and the more exploration you did, a little bar would come up and said chance of success has increased to 72%, which was cool. It was really, really good.
It's funny that you mentioned sound as well, because I went shopping with my little brother on the weekend, and we were looking at OLED TVs. And I'm kind of weighing up whether to go OLED or LED, and then with the difference you save in LED, buying a decent surround sound system. And it kind of, sound is as important as the visuals, I think, these days. Good sound design and good soundtrack, and adds to the experience far greater than probably what it used to. So it's interesting.
Makes a good atmosphere, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's it. And they can design with sound, especially if you've got 5.1 or 7.1, because you can make people think things are behind them and they turn around. So it's interesting that It's so much for a developer to take in these days, I suppose, building something that looks great, plays great, and then has the depth of sound that engrosses you as well.
That's what's good about those Sony Platinum headset, the one that has 3D sound.
Yeah, they're great.
Really cool that is. I remember trying them. They were quite good. So,
do you want to hear about anything else in particular?
Tell me more about Far Cry, because I'm interested to hear why.
Yeah, I've never played a Far Cry.
Okay, right. So I played Far Cry 3, but not all of it to completion. And I was talking on the third day, I was talking to a few people who also played it, and they said, yeah, it was good, but didn't it just feel like, Far Cry 3, 4 mixed together? And the one thing I have to admit I really did like about the demo was everything felt so realistic, if you know what I mean. Like, people would throw explosions next to you, and your character would literally, if you were, far away enough to not be affected, you would literally rocket to one side. And I loved that. And the guns, you get recoil on all the guns. And the best bit about it was Boomer the dog, which was so cool.
Like, that's the one reason I want it.
Great. It was really good. So you got to pick out 3 companions, and everyone in the booth with me who I looked around and saw pick Boomer the dog, like, straight away.
What other choices did you have?
So there's a guy in the sky on a plane, and he basically, like, will snipe and drop things from the sky. And then there's basically a sniper who joins you on foot. And it's quite cool. You can sort of command them to, go over there or attack or take cover or, set up an attack.
It's ripped from Metal Gear 5, basically.
Oh, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Tell you, the dog is amazing, though. Like, the dog will kill enemies and bring their guns to you, which I think is really cool.
Yes. That's cool.
So you could just send the dog to do everything and then just collect all their ammo.
That's the trouble. Like, I've been really put off Far Cry, as of recent, because I was really interested in Primal, because I love anything prehistoric, but I played Far Cry 4, and aside from the villain in it, like the antagonist, nothing piqued my interest. It literally felt like they took Far Cry 3, reskinned it.
Yeah.
Like, they tend to, they don't, branch out the game in the way it works and stuff. They don't add new gameplay features. They kind of pick and choose which one they're putting in, that particular game from the pre-existing features. And it just kind of puts me off because it never feels like a different game.
Yeah, I feel like the real problem here is that I didn't really get enough time with the demo to be able to tell you, like, oh yeah, it's different. Because obviously all I did was, like, kill a few cultists and go fishing at a lake.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, time's up, off you go. But I really did enjoy my experience. And I definitely, think it was worth waiting in that queue for. It's not something I came out of and I was like, oh, that was a bit disappointing. I came out like, wow, that was great. What's next?
Did
I like
you
the
play
idea
it?
of the quests. It's good.
Anything that you did come away from and think, oh, damn it?
Okay, so, I didn't really like Forza 7, but I think that might be because I ended up in a driver's seat, and I could not believe how ridiculously hard driver's seats are to, like, drive, in.
Okay, so it was like a steering wheel and seat setup.
So steering wheel, seat, and there was a clutch, a brake, and an accelerator, and because I drive, I put my foot on the clutch, and you never use it ever. So I'm like taking my foot off the accelerator, putting on the brake, and everyone else is using, everyone else who knows what they're doing is using one foot for the brake and one for the accelerator. But the steering was so stiff, and I guess it's realistic. It did really make you feel like you were fighting against a race car pulling you from, one side or the other. But I came away from it and I was like, I might have enjoyed that more on like a standard booth. And there were a few ones, but everyone, I thought, you know what, I'm here. I'll never get to do it again probably. Let's go sit in the driver's chair. Apart from that, I played Town of Light, which I played that with Sean. So me and him met up on one Sunday, and we were like, should we just go play some indie games? We went to Town of Light because it was empty, and he sat on the Xbox station and I was on the PlayStation, and we just kept looking at each other like, this is weird, isn't it?
This is why it's empty.
This is really strange. I mean, it's basically a depiction of mental health, and it's set in an abandoned mental institution. I think it's great at showing you what the trials and tribulations are for people who do suffer from mental health, but it's very strange, and it kind of made me feel really unsettled. Like, after I came away from it, I was like, I feel like I need to play something happy. And then that's when me and Sean went to play Cuphead, because we were like, that's fun, we'll play that instead.
Yeah. So, VR then, I suppose we're going to
God.
a bit. So what did you play, and what did you feel about VR?
Oh no, it was horrible. So I went to the VR station because I had a VR experience booked in, and they sort of said, oh, for people who've booked it in, especially press, we're giving them the opportunity to play Gran Turismo Sport, and I was like, oh god, I was like, this is my first time trying VR, so I'm a bit nervous about playing something that's that fast. And he was like, nah, you'll be fine, you'll be right. And it was in a driver's seat situation, so I'm fighting against the steering again. And I mean, the graphics looked really good, and I think that VR is amazing, you know, the way that it can just replicate a 360 surrounding like that. And you look around and, you know, you move your hands to the left and the character's hands move. It's so strange. But it did make me feel funny. Like, not nauseous like most people get. But when I took it off, I felt like really lightheaded. And I think it's because my eyes were telling me I was going 100 miles an hour, but I was very aware that my body was sitting still. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just felt really disconnected, and I got up and I was like, I feel like I need to like have some water and sit down. Gran Turismo Sport looks great in VR, but I just don't know if the fast VR stuff is something that I can handle. Do you know what I mean?
I never considered that before, that your body is expecting to have force on it.
Yeah, because you're looking around and you see, you know, these barriers and the trees shoot past you, and they're going so fast. And normally when I play racing games, I play in third person, so I can see the entire car.
Yeah.
So it's weird for me to be like in the driver's seat anyway, because I would never do that in a standard PS4 game. But then, you know, when you've got the VR headset on, you look around and you are in the chair, you know, in the racing seat, as far as you're concerned. Your brain's like, oh yeah, I'm here, like I'm in this situation. And I just felt funny. I felt really weird.
Maybe Sony need to package a VR with a couple of Dyson air blades so that you can blow the wind in you.
Yeah,
in the
maybe.
face while you drive.
That's real. I'll put you on like what they called those things at the gym. What are they called?
I don't know, running machine.
Oh god, treadmill, yeah. Like with one facing against the wall, so you're just constantly like moving.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, the other thing that I played that I absolutely loved was Cuphead, and I thought I'd hate it, really. And when I saw the announcement, it was this year's E3, wasn't it?
I think
Microsoft.
so, yeah.
It was in a bundle of those games where it just sort of shot games at you. It was like, here's this game, here's this game, here's this game. And I remember looking and I was like, that's weird. Like, what a weird concept for a video game. And once again, me and Sean, we played it. It was co-op. So, you know, he had one cup, I guess, and I had the other cup. And wow, it's insane. And both me and Sean have played Bloodborne and beaten it. And we were raging so hard on the station. And all these people were like, no, it's really easy. We're like, it's not easy. Like, wait until you sit down. It's not easy. I was like, it's really difficult. Like, leave me alone. Let me play. Let me concentrate. But I love how unique it was, because obviously the main thing for games nowadays is for them to look realistic, and everybody wants that real sort of feeling game. So Cuphead's style is just great, and I mean the animation flows beautifully, and it's sort of one of those games where once it beats you and you die, you're like, okay, play again straight away, let's get straight back into it. You know, determination. Really, really impressed actually by the those two Xbox games I played. Not so much Forza, but those two I really liked. And then
can I just ask about Sea of Thieves? Because the one thing that worries me about it, from just looking at it, is it'll end up a bit like Evolve or something similar like that, where everybody will get all excited about it, and then everybody will play it, and then it'll just fall apart, and no one will ever play it again after about a month or two, because it's the sort of game you need to work together, and people a lot of the time I find online just don't work together.
No.
Well, I mean,
they don't chat to each other, so people get frustrated, and then it just all falls apart and nobody ever plays it again. That's the sort of type of game it strikes me as. That's all.
The thing that worries me about it, I think, is that, you know, with it being a multiplayer, I can see in like 5 or 6 years' time, no one will be on it, and it'll basically be unplayable as in multiplayer anymore. You'll just sail around on your own, you know.
Yeah.
Who do you sink? There's no one around. Who do you loot? Oh, there's no one around. But I don't know. I'd say I played half an hour demo. It was the longest demo I played in the entire EGX showcase, and I was really impressed by it. Like I said, I left it and I was like, you know, probably obviously would have been happier to wait less than 2.5 hours, but I'm not mad that I had to wait that long. I do think that we had communication issues, and I didn't even know those people. So I definitely can see your point of it. You know, it might get to a point where you just don't get anything done, and we sank our ship. So I can imagine that happening a lot with. I think it needs to be a game that all your friends are intent on buying, and you're intent on buying, and you're going to keep playing it. And, you know, it needs to stay relevant like Overwatch and other really successful multiplayers have, really.
And
It
that's
was
going to
really
be
good.
hard to do on a single platform
Yes.
without bringing console wars and all that kind of crap into it. Like,
Yes, so it's
if you've got a
boring.
game like that, you want really to have as many people as possible playing it. But
Yeah. There's
Yeah,
limited
well, that's
stuff
just
to
my
it.
genuine worry about it. Like, when I saw it and I see how it plays, and the just first thing that sprang to mind was Evolve,
Yeah.
because how hyped that game got, and then it just
Yeah,
God, that
and
was
it was like it was on
failed.
sale for like a couple of quid, like a couple of weeks later. It was like,
It's like
that didn't go
£3
down too
right
well.
now.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, so.
I see your worries about it. I think that it does need to, it should have probably not been an exclusive. I think they are limiting themselves a little bit there with, just being on Xbox, because obviously I want it. Do you know what I mean? And I don't have an Xbox. But am I going to buy an Xbox to get that one game? No, probably not. So, I would buy it if it was on PS4. Like, probably would have left the show saying, yeah, I'm definitely going to buy Detroit and I'm definitely going to buy Sea of Thieves. But because it's obviously on Xbox, it's limited itself a little bit.
yeah.
Oh, that's what they're trying to do there. You build up those games you want. You'll get one day, maybe.
Yeah.
So
The other main thing I think probably is Assassins, if you want to hear about that I played.
Oh yes, please.
Yeah. Were you going to say something, Dan, before I start?
I was going to ask about your interviews, so no, carry on about.
I'll do my
Assassins
interviews after.
first.
Okay.
Wake me up when you finish talking
All
about
right.
Assassins.
So, obviously, it's been quite a long time, hasn't it, since, was it Syndicate that was the last? Which was the last? Was it Syndicate? Can't think.
Syndicate,
2015,
yes.
wasn't it?
It was,
So
it was
it's been
Syndicate.
2 years. Lots of people didn't like Syndicate because of the combat. Am I right? Because I haven't really played it.
Yeah, they kind of changed up the combat quite drastically, and it was a very kind of different style to what had been imposed beforehand. So
I thought it was alright. I thought it was alright.
It was
But
good.
then
It was
I spent most
fast-paced.
of my time standing on a train,
Yeah.
just getting around
Yeah.
the city.
Yeah. So the combat's really different in this, and it actually reminded me a lot of The Witcher, because you go to, so basically the demo saw you in a village, and there was a little quest line that you could follow, and it was about this slave. He was about to be beaten because he'd lied to his master about losing all this gold in the sea. So they were like, go and find the gold and he'll get let off. So you have to go onto one of the ships, and there's enemies there, and they all attack you at once, which a lot of people were happy about, because I've heard that some Assassin's games, they wait for their turn.
Yeah, do you remember the review you read out?
Yes, and they were like, well, they unrealistically stand and wait to die, but they all come at you at once in this one, which is really good. I got killed by a hippo, which was interesting. That's never happened to me before in a video game, but I think it looked amazing. There's an option to take hold of this eagle, and you can fly around as an eagle.
Yeah, actual eagle vision.
That looked amazing. I flew probably I don't know, half, well, obviously not in real distance, but half a mile from my character in video game distance. And I could see everything in so much detail, even people walking around in the markets, miles underneath me. And I was so impressed by how well it looks. Another thing I really like, you can climb anywhere. You know how most games, like Uncharted, will have that white band on the rocks you can climb on? You just go up to any rocks, and you just jump up, and you can go right to the top, which I thought was really cool.
Nice. That's what Switch players will take away from Breath of the Wild, and that's what killed Horizon, because Breath of the Wild, you can pretty much climb anything and go anywhere.
It's not here you can climb. It's figure out
so
your stuff.
That's cool. I'd love it if more games could kind of shoehorn that kind of mechanic in.
Yeah, it was great, because I wanted to go to the top of this rock and basically call my eagle, and I thought, well, I probably won't be able to because I don't see any markings. So I just ran up to it and pressed whatever button it is on the Xbox controller. I can't remember now. Mashed one of the buttons, and I was all the way at the top, and I was like, wow, that was impressive, because obviously if I was playing Uncharted and it's not marked, that's a no-go zone. You can't get up there.
Yeah.
But God, it looked amazing. It probably was the best looking game at the showcase, I thought. It just looked so good.
I'm really happy to hear it, because obviously the series has kind of received a lot of criticism, quite rightfully, over the past couple of years. And I'm just glad to see it's kind of being rejuvenated and really kind of thought about, as opposed to rushed to release kind of thing.
It feels like they've definitely taken in consideration what the community have said, about.
Yeah, it's reassuring.
So should I talk a bit about my interviews?
Yes.
So I had one interview set up already for Cube 2, and I really, really enjoyed playing that game. I thought it was great. It sort of feels very sci-fi now, and before it just felt very Portal. Do you know what I mean? Like it was all blank cubes and then like a few coloured cubes, and it's like you obviously moved this one. And I was so stuck on some of the puzzles, I could actually hear them behind me through the headphones going like, she's got that wrong. And I was like, stop, like I know I've got it wrong, like stop telling me I've got it wrong. And the interviews, they were both really easy to do. The people who I interviewed, both of them, so on the first day I interviewed the Cube the artist, and he was obviously really passionate about his game. And when I started talking to him about, how come you decided to change up the color scheme, he was obviously so passionate about it, and he was like, well, it evokes this and it's more meaningful with this. So he was lovely to talk to. And then after I played Cube, almost straight away, the stand next door were like, oh, do you want to come and have a go at this game? And it was Lost Words, and I was like, oh, okay, I've never heard about it before, looks good. Honestly, my favorite indie game that I went on, and I don't think I would have gone on it if he'd not asked me to. So Mark Backler, he's the founder. He said like, we basically wanted to do a game about loss, and we wanted to do it as an indie game because indie games obviously don't pay as much attention to the getting the game out there and publishing, so they put more attention to the story and the detail, and you could be very creative with a smaller team. So he was lovely to talk to, and I basically played the game on the Saturday, and on the Sunday I was like, I need to come back and interview because I need to know more about the game. And he was lovely. He was really, really nice to talk to, and he's very passionate. He said to me, a few people have obviously come to the stand and he said, do you want to play? And they'd be like, no, I'm waiting in a queue. So I felt really nice, like giving him an opportunity to talk about his game. And very, very genuinely lovely bloke. Really, really easy to talk. Yeah, he was really nice. I love indie games. They're so nice like
what
that.
system's that for?
So he told me that they're looking at, I think he said Xbox, Steam, but he also said, other consoles hopefully in the future. So I don't know if he's hinting at PlayStation. And he said he'd like to bring it out as a mobile and tablet game, which I think it would work really good on. Because the whole concept is just basically you move with the keyboard, which I really struggle with, like I'm not a PC gamer. And you just have to tag words to certain things. So there was one section where there was a row of rocks. And it said, I must learn to rise. And if you clicked on the word rise and dragged it to the rocks went up. And I thought that was so cool. I was like, this is really cool. This is so creative and so original. So I hope it does come to PS4 because it's a great game. It looked really good.
Yeah, I'm just on their website now, lostwordgame.com. Yeah, it does look very nice. Yeah. Yeah,
it's so unique. Like, I love it when I play indie games and I'm like, wow, that's so different. You know what I mean? That's why I liked Cuphead, because I know it's not an indie game, but because it's so different from everything else that you get to see in the gaming world. Like I said earlier, most of it is multiplayer or action adventure or just genuinely realistic looking games. So it's great to pick something up that's unique and different and really memorable like that.
Yeah, there's a game that I've just backed, I backed last month on Kickstarter called Lona Realm of Colours, which at the moment it's not slated for, or it's not releasing on consoles. It's just like a mobile and a PC game, but just that the artwork was enough to make me back it. It looks amazing.
It does.
Similar kind of reasons. Sometimes you can just art or pictures tell 1,000 words or whatever, and you look at it and you just think, I want to be part of this. So.
Battle Chasers is the only one I ever backed in Kickstarter, and that's because it was Joe Madeira.
Because of the art as well, Funny, isn't it?
The art is so important, isn't it? Like what your game looks like. And I think it's fine to, it's really brave to say, my game isn't going to be realistic, but it has its own little twist on it, and this is what it looks like. I love it when indie games are different like that.
It's nice when games don't try to cater to just what they assume the general kind of gaming community want, and they really try and hit a niche, and I love that.
Well, it makes them so more memorable, doesn't it? Because you're like, it's different. It's so different from anything else.
They they kind of walk a tightrope of not appealing to anyone, but at the same time they will, if they appeal to a small group, they kind of get a cult status. And like you said earlier, so many games strive for realism now that you can't tell the difference between Call of Duty, Battlefront, and all those, Assassin's Creed. Okay, they're all different IPs and they don't have their own quirks, but if you strip all of the character art out and just look at the game itself, they all look the same,
aim, haven't they?
Yeah. So to have something that's a little bit different and a little bit quirky, and maybe, it's not going to be a critical success, but it will make certain people remember it and value it more. So,
Mhm.
and yeah, the fact that we've all kind of just named either Kickstarters that we back because of the art or games that we want because of the art, it shows that there is value in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, it sounds like you had a great time.
Yes, it was very good. Very.
Next year
lots of
we're
hard
going
work.
together, and
Yes,
we're
please
going to
come
cover
with
it all.
me.
We're going to cover it all, I promise.
I mean, I felt so bad leaving on Sunday, and I was like, oh God, I didn't get to play this game, and I didn't get to play this game. But there is, I mean, I think someone said that there was like 116 indie games alone. And then obviously there's queues for all of them, and there's queues for all the main games. But, you know, I got a lot of the, I didn't do like Shadow of War and stuff like that. But I did get a lot of the main games done.
I think
Yeah.
that's one of the things that Gamescom does quite well is that if you've got a press pass, they do a press day before they open the general
That
public.
would be a good idea.
So you can go along play the game, but even then there's still queues because you have to queue.
You got to queue.
I mean, you probably have to queue for an hour even just on the press day. So imagine how long you need to queue.
Yeah.
Like, if it's not a press day, it's crazy. Gamescom.
think-
I mean,
The most important thing is that you played what you wanted, and I think that's the thing. There's no point in going to cover a load of kind of rubbish that you're not going to then talk favourably about or anything. You want to
It's
go
mad-
in and enjoy it.
it's mad to think
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
the 10th Eurogamer Expo
Yeah,
because
I know.
I went
mean, they
to
were
the
selling
first
like
one.
limited edition 10 stuff.
I was at the first one.
That's
I remember
insane.
I got a press pass. I was covering it for VG 24/7. I was covering some of the talks and stuff, and doing articles about them, and it was so quiet. I mean, you could
Really?
literally walk up to any game and play it.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
And
Kind of
then-
shows how far the industry's come, doesn't it, in 10 years, as
Yeah.
well as press shows, I think.
And
It's
it
a lot
was
more.
it was quite mad when you were going to because I was in the very first one. The press area was also where the sort of VIP and the VIP
Oh, really?
developers sat as well. So you're sitting
That's
next to
cool.
Peter Molyneux and all them before they do their talks. So you could just go up to them and just interview them in the same room, which was quite cool. But
That is cool.
and then The Apprentice was there that year as well, so I was sitting in the crowd, and I think I was in The Apprentice because they filmed me when I was sitting in the crowd while they were doing their pitch, so there's me sitting. I was a bit fatter then, to be honest, so I look a
We
lot
wouldn't
better now
recognise
than
you.
I did then. Yeah,
Yeah.
so, but no,
I'll
it's
tell you what
good.
though.
It's
Oh my
just-
gosh, it was insane on the weekend. Like, I went in on Thursday and I was in the front of the queue, and I was looking and I was like, wow, this is big. Like on Thursday, I was like, there's a lot of people here. And then on Saturday, obviously because with a press pass, you get the 10 o'clock early entry. I was just going to do my interview with Mark from Lost Words, and I obviously walked straight past the opening doors, and I was shocked at how many people were filling in the adjacent hall. It was literally packed, the entire hall. And then when they started coming in, it must have taken them about 40 minutes to get everyone in. It was like a stampede constantly, and you had to avoid the main area because you just the crowd coming forwards. And I was like, wow, I was not busy on Thursday at all then, was it?
Yeah,
really?
it's just getting busy and busy because I don't know how many I went to Eurogamer Expos. I must have been to 5 or 6 or something, but they were all in London, all the ones that I went to.
Yeah,
I've
it's moved to
never
Birmingham
been
now.
to it in Birmingham now, but obviously I've got a rough idea what it's like because I went to Gamescom, and Gamescom was crazy because it just
Yeah, apparently that's mental.
you would just stand at the top of the escalator and look down, and all you see is a sea of people and not one gap for about half a mile of just people, and the first game hall's way at the end of the corridor, and you have to get through this big massive sea of people just to get to the hall with the games in. I mean, there's got 8 halls with games in, and they're all massive and they're all full of people. But you have to walk about half a mile just to get there through all these people, and it's oh my god! So I can imagine. And obviously, I think the Call Me Centre, I think it's called. I think that's a hell of a lot bigger than the NEC as well.
Yeah,
so
the NEC is big, but there was other events going on, so it wasn't like the entire NEC. I think we had halls 6, 7, and 8, and then like 18, 19, and 20, which back onto each other. So we only had like 6 halls, but they were all full. But I've heard Gamescom is insane. Like,
yeah, it's
just-
crazy.
like you can't breathe because of the people there.
And the funny thing about it is, because I don't know what they do at the Birmingham one now, but in Germany, they have a business centre, so you do all your interviews in this business centre, and you go along and you get a massage and all that while you eat. And
What? Didn't get that. I did not get that.
So you play all the games, right? You go behind the scenes in the business centre and you play demos that people aren't playing on the show floor. You're playing ones that are more sort of advanced or whatever, shown later stages, or you're seeing games that aren't even on the show floor. I remember seeing Prey, the old Prey, before they re-released it, but I remember seeing the Prey that was never ever released that looked absolutely amazing, and obviously that wasn't on show floor. It was just kind of shown off behind the scenes, and it never ever came in, and they released that new version of Prey instead, which doesn't look half as good. But like it's just stuff like that. You're going there talking to developers in the same room while you're playing their game and stuff, and
that's cool.
And like then you go. So when you go to the show floor, it kind of feels like a bit of an anticlimax because you've just played all these games and like they're all kind of standing there in queues for hours, and you think, no, I've just played that. And when you're in the business center, they're giving you passes that let you skip the queue as well. So
that's cool.
When you do go on show floor, you've got all these passes so you can get to the front of the queue, and I was just going along with the queues, handing my pass to the guy at the back of the queue, going like, to 2 hours. That is quite funny. Yeah, but no, it's cool. It's all good though. I like Eurogamer as well because it was a bit smaller, but it just, to me, especially when it was getting to this last one I went to, I could see it kind of heading the same sort of way as Gamescom, where there's these people just queuing for hours, and I don't really like that. I think with technology the way it is today, there's easy ways for them to avoid that. Like, everybody's got a mobile phone. They could almost text you when it's your turn or something, or make an app that buzzes and gives you a notification when it's your turn to come along, and then that way more people could see more things. I just think they could make it more organised. I'm surprised they haven't. I'm sure it will happen one day, because that's just all that puts me off about these shows.
Yeah.
Just waiting in the queues. I think it's a complete waste of time going to play 4 games in a whole day. It just doesn't like. It feels like it could be organised better. That's criticism, but it's fun otherwise. I mean, you get to talk to people in the queue, and then you meet other people.
It was great fun.
I mean, that's all fun. I like that. It just, from a sort of productive point of view, I guess if you're going as a journalist or whatever, then it's nice to see as much as you can, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's why it's better to go with at least another person from your website, because then you can just cover twice as much in 1 hour. Because obviously, I was saying before we started recording, I met these 2 lovely guys in the press room, and they said, oh, well, I went to Assassin's Creed while he went to Far Cry, and we came out of the queues at the same time. I played 2 games in 1 hour. Yeah. Whereas I'm going to Far Cry, queuing up for Assassin's Creed, playing Assassin's Creed, and it's taking me 2.5 hours to do it.
But to be honest, having been a journalist for years or whatever, all this stuff in the show floor, I guarantee you people from IGN and all that have already played all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, because I used to go to events in London all the time, and even at EGX, when one year we were at London and there was a Tomb Raider event in a pub round the corner for press only, so we would go down and play a demo that wasn't on the show floor or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you ever done, I mean, that's the thing when you're working for one of the sort of proper sites who sort of pay their staff, like you'll get invites to these events practically every week where you're going to see the latest game before it's even been announced sometimes, or once it's been announced you'll go see it. So obviously more of the people at the show floor who've got press passes and maybe haven't played these games is probably more like we are at the moment, this sort of enthusiast press. So obviously they can't invite everybody to play these demos in London and stuff, because they're quite limited. So it's a good way to open it to not just a wider audience of the general public, but the enthusiast press as well, who've maybe not the chance to play like the other journalists have, so that they can write about it and spread the word even further, and all the YouTubers and all that sort of thing. So
yeah. Cool.
Sounds
good though. Sounds good.
Yeah, it was very good.
Should round up our coverage there of EGX.
Yes.
We had
Well, my reviews are up, aren't they? If anyone wants to
Yeah,
read anything else,
true.
I've done
Yeah, you
highlights for every day.
You should read it all because it's good. I enjoyed reading it. I like the format of just saying what you've done every day and putting it all in the way you'd seen everything in each day. That is quite good.
Thanks, Joe. So if anyone wants to read any more, then they're all up on SquareXO.
Yeah. So there you go.
Oh.
EGX done.
Yeah.
We had a user question a couple of weeks ago, and I just wanted to raise it as a quick discussion point before we move on to what we've been playing, because I know we've been talking for a while. But it was regarding blocking screenshots and screen sharing from certain games and certain scenes. And,
yeah.
I just wanted
Persona 5.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up because actually I think it's a really good thing. And I know it's annoying at times because we've kind of all got this second nature in us now to be like, oh, this is beautiful, I'll take a screenshot and tweet it. And you don't kind of think of the repercussions. So I still haven't finished Persona 5. I haven't gone back to it since I started The Lost Legacy. But what's great is it still hasn't been spoiled. So
that's great.
I know I'm safe in the knowledge that unless there's going to be some idiot that's going to spoil it on purpose. Hopefully no one tweets at me now. But I'm kind of safe in that, and I think that it is a good thing that they have the ability to block it and that they don't then open it up after a month or 2 months. That was all. I just wanted to answer that question, really. I don't know if you guys had any thoughts on it.
I just agree with that, basically. I think it's good for not spoiling games because everyone has a habit of doing that, whether it be accidentally or,
Actually, speaking of which, some people, because obviously I like FIFA, you know that, and the journey is something I've been quite looking forward to playing. And these bloody YouTubers who maybe get the game earlier, whatever, then capture it and then put it in parts.
Yeah.
So part 1, blah blah, part 2, blah, 9, and he done 9 parts for the journey, right? Obviously I follow him on Twitter, so I see when he posts up his videos, but I don't ever watch YouTuber videos. I'm not interested, but I don't see the point of me watching his videos of the journey when I can play it. It's like, well, why would I spoil it for myself by watching your videos before it's out? Because then when I play it, I'll know the whole story.
Didn't we talk about that another week, though? Like a while back, didn't we? Saying that we don't get why you'd watch people play anyway.
But anyway, the point is, it's more to your point that he's posting these up, but he's putting the titles in for each part of his video. And that part 9 just said something which kind of gave away.
You're like,
yeah, part 9 it never gave much away, but it gave away something that you would know. Oh, I must be doing that later on in the game then. And I just thought to myself, well, that's annoying because I would like to have found that out for myself. And you go and bloody post it up in the title of your video. And I'm just thinking, no, fuck's sake. Oh, my friends. I'm just thinking,
I'm very passionate about this issue.
Yeah, it is true.
It just annoyed me. That did.
When especially. So I know FIFA is not the best example because it's just a football game in inverted commas. But when you've been waiting years for these big story-driven games, and then someone who has time to just sit there and bang through it in a couple of days, and then it's like, oh yeah, and this happens, and this character dies, or this happens, and you're just like, oh, for God's sake.
Just imagine that was like The Last of Us or something. Like how much would that have ruined the initial experience of it? People doing that.
Yeah, no. So I'm not really. That doesn't please me. At all.
Would they have been able to stop that if they had blocked screen capturing, or is there?
Nah, because he's just captured the video, uploaded videos in parts, and then just put the title on the video. Maybe he should have thought of a better title for his video, really.
Maybe, yeah.
That was less spoilerific.
Well, maybe EA might pick up on it and stop them from doing it next time. You don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure someone probably said to him, oh, by the way, that was a bit, I was looking for this, you've spoiled it, but tell me that. But, I mean, I'm sure somebody probably said that. I felt like saying it myself, but I thought, oh, what's the point? I can't be bothered.
Just start an argument that you can't be bothered to deal with kind of thing, don't you? At that point.
No. I do that all the time on Twitter, don't I? Start arguments, and then
you do indeed, Joe.
And I get bored and go, oh no, I can't bored, so
Yeah.
I'll just say I won and then just leave it at that.
Yeah.
So what have we all been playing anyway then? Shall we round that up? 'Cause
Yeah.
we were
Yeah.
over an hour, I think, now. So.
I've already
Well, it's
said,
a
so I
special.
don't need to say.
Yeah.
I mentioned that at the beginning what I played, so I don't, nothing to say on that.
Fair enough. Shall I go? I've been
Yeah,
playing bits and pieces. So I obviously finished my Odin Sphere game because I tweeted that I'd got the platinum, and then I started Oceanhorn on the Vita, and I've played it for about 2 hours or so, but it's really good. I don't know if anyone else has played it, but it's it's basically, and I put a tweet out saying if you mash together the Wind Waker and A Link to the Past,
Oh my
kind of the
gosh,
first
it sounds
half an hour,
good.
like you wake up, it's raining, your uncle goes off with a sword, and it's kind of like, oh, hold on a minute, this is
That
just
sounds great.
Zelda. And then you get a boat and you sail between islands, so it's basically Wind Waker. So yeah, it's really, really good actually. I'm very impressed.
Is that the one you've got on Vita and PS4?
Yes, they're the limited run.
Limited run, yeah.
Yeah, what do you think it'll play better on, just out of curiosity? Like,
I've had a couple of people comment that the Vita one is more suited to Vita because the islands are small. You can kind of drop in and out, do half an hour. So I'd imagine it looks better on PS4, obviously, but I haven't. I'm going to keep PS4 sealed and just play it on Vita.
That's a good idea.
But to be fair, it's the kind of game that it's not about the graphical prowess. It's about the gameplay and the story and stuff. So yeah, it's good though. I'd recommend it if it ever goes down in the sale on PSN store. I'd recommend it quite highly actually.
That sounds really good.
So
yeah, I'll keep you all updated as I get further. But yeah,
it sounds great.
So I've also been playing Knack 2 more. I want to kind of finish it and crack through. I'm on the 13th chapter, so I think I'm near the end, but my feelings on it are exactly as what I discussed before. Really good, really enjoying it, good fun. Yeah, good game. And then I obviously did a review for Peach Beach Splash on PS4, which again isn't to everyone's taste. I know it's a very specific niche audience and a very Japanese game from Marvelous Games, but I quite enjoy playing that. It's just you just turn it on and shoot people. It's very different to the other Senran Kagura games. It's like a squad-based third person shooter. Sorry, I haven't played Splatoon, but I'm going to compare it to that just because I'd imagine that's what it's like. It's basically like a deathmatch. If you're multiplayer or if you're single player, you just play against enemies and rival clans. But it's a good fun game. Passes the time and I enjoy it. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. Should actually give Marvelous a shout out because they gave me free codes for that to give away as well. So if you're interested in Senran Kagura and you haven't got Peach Beach Splash, check out our Twitter. There is a competition. It's just retweet the tweet and I'll announce the free winners on Monday next week. But we got free codes, which is very generous and very kind of the guys there. And they know how much of a fan I am of their games, but I want to just thank them for supporting us, really, and giving us lots of free stuff to give away. So, yeah, that's what I've
disappeared. I'm back.
Oh, okay. Do you want to go, Nicole? Because I've already talked my head off.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been playing a bit of Ark Survival Evolved, because obviously that's seen its like physical release quite recently, but obviously I've had the game preview version.
Yeah.
But I've just been really enjoying that. I got really disappointed because like I did a 51 gig update, and on my Xbox it takes ages to like do it.
50 gig.
It was long, and I did it, and my game kept freezing every time I loaded it up. And I've got this like private server where we had so much, and I was like, oh my god, I'm never going to see it again. I had to uninstall 51 gig and reinstall 51 gig. It took me hours. I was so upset, but I'm back and I'm flying on dinosaurs and life's good again. But other than that, I know obviously to you guys this isn't remotely interesting, but I've been playing a lot of Destiny 2.
Oh yeah, cool. That's
go
good
ahead.
to your thoughts, though.
Yeah, it's obviously I apologise for all the Destiny kind of jargon, but I'm just so impressed with it. Like obviously, like I've reviewed it and I've said a lot about it in there, so I won't say too much now. But obviously, it's the narrative is absolutely phenomenal. Like it's so good, and it's so nice that they've like kind of picked up the slack from the first game.
Yeah.
And like, you know, they've really kind of branched out and I've seen like a lot of people on Twitter say that they've played through the story and now they're happy and they don't want to kind of pursue the raid and stuff, which are kind of post-game things. But it's just so good, and it's still very kind of true to its roots. It's still a grind, and I mean that is the appeal of Destiny, believe it or not. But I'm so happy with it. It's just really, really, really good.
It's quite nice, like you mentioned earlier about maybe Ubisoft listening to the criticisms of Assassin's Creed and fixing that for the new one, and also then if they've listened for Destiny 1 what the fans and the players have said about it and addressed that a little bit in 2, then that's really good that we're being taken seriously as an audience.
Yeah, for sure. Like the voice acting as well is like phenomenal. Like they've really kind of taken the really underutilized characters and kind of, you know, brought them into the spotlight, and it's so good because it made you realize how much better Destiny 1 could have been. Like if they kind of took their focus and spread it out a bit more, as opposed to thinking it's just a multiplayer, you know, online only. Let's kind of put everything into that. They could have engaged so many more people with like the narrative that they can obviously do very well because they've shown it in Destiny 2. So yeah, it's just really, really good. Really happy with it.
Yeah. Cool.
I haven't, well, apart from everything at EGX, I haven't really played anything because I've obviously been away. But I have got back into Dark Souls 3, which I don't know if it's been my week break, but I really can't play it anymore. I'm so stuck. Everything is like 100 times harder than it was before I went on holiday. I like really desperately need help and tips. So if anyone on Twitter wants to help me out, please send me tips. I really can't advance at this stage. But no, it's been interesting getting back into it because it's very different, obviously, from Bloodborne. And I'm finding that it was very easy for the first 3 or 4 hours. The first 5 or 6 areas I sort of went through really quick and I had no problems. And I don't know if the game's doing that classic, like, middle of the game difficulty spike. And it's just got to a point now where I'm just dying everywhere and I can't level up. And I don't know if it's just because I've had a break. You know, I've been away from my PS4 for about a week and I just need to get back into it. But really haven't done anything apart from play Dark Souls 3, really. And not even play that very well, to be fair. But you know what? Getting back into it.
Do you think you'll quit on it and move on to something else?
I can't see myself quitting. What I can see myself doing is spending another 2 years on it like I did with Bloodborne. Right. I think it's going to be a very slow grab. I'm quite good at playing games, you know, a few games at a time. I mean, I got the Inside and Limbo physical release, and I'm definitely going to play Limbo at some point because I've never played Limbo. I just knew about it and I played Inside. So I probably will get on Limbo really quickly, you know, probably within the next few days. And I'm really interested to see how that'll be. Already have playing it's, you know, the second game in the sort of, not really a franchise, but, you know, by the same developers.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to doing that. But Dark Souls 3 is just driving me insane right now. I just can't deal with it. I need something. I know Limbo is not going to be relaxing, but something a bit easier.
Yeah. No, that sounds awesome.
No, but that's it.
Okie doke. Sorry, I was just... I don't know what I was doing.
You zoned out, Joe.
Yeah, zoned out,
listening to the podcast.
It's been a long day.
He sat back with his feet up with a glass of rum, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely.
I would like to, actually. That'd be quite nice. No, I was just reading Twitter. I can't go an hour without reading it. I kind of get withdrawal symptoms.
Okay.
I just saw something really funny where it was International Peace Day or something, and Xbox asked PlayStation for dinner. And then
I saw that.
Everybody else was arranging where to go for dinner, Activision, Ubisoft and that, and then PlayStation replied saying, "Oh, new phone, who is this?"
I saw that, that was brilliant.
That is quite good. I just saw that as the first time I saw it, so I was just laughing at that, but it's quite funny. Okay, that's it. We'll be back next week, of course, in our normal format with news and all that. Sorry if I've been a bit spaced out, don't know what's wrong with me today. I didn't sleep very well last night, to be honest. But yeah, back to our normal format next week. Yeah, I think that's all I've got to say anyway about that. Thanks again to Rebecca for great EGX coverage, that's good.
You're welcome.
Who knows, maybe soon it'll be Paris Games Week and PSX and E3 and all that as well.
Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah.
Exactly. Who knows? Maybe all that in the future. But for now, we're happy. Gamescom, I forgot that one. But now, of course, we're happy with EGX. So make sure you check out all that coverage. Thanks for joining us for the podcast. Sorry we missed a week, but we'll be back next week. So there you go. Thanks for now. Bye.
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 Bye.